the parshat that we're learning. It talks about Terumah, tetsaveh. This week is tetsaveh. Then we got parshat Kitisa a little bit, and then Vayakev Pekudi is all about the Mishkan. It's all about building the Mishkan, the Beit Hamikdash. So obviously, today we don't have the Beit Hamikdash. We have a small one. The synagogues are the Beit Hamikdash. The kollels are the Beit Hamikdash. Yes. Well, they have the same laws. Basically, it's not the same. The Mishkan was in times of Moshe Rabbeinu in the desert. Beit Hamikdash is what Shlomo Melech built later on. But anyways, I just wanted to go through a couple of them that have a very big lesson for us. Let's go through the simple one first. This week's parsha we learn about lighting the menorah, right? And the Torah says you cannot use candles, you cannot use any type of oil. Even in olive oil can't be any type of olive oil. It has to be shemen zayit zach, which means completely pure, clear. Which means, the way they used to prepare it is that they didn't take it to a grinder, to grind the olive oil and then separate, the what do you call it, the sediments or the pits, whatever, from the oil. They would only press on it, and they were in the baskets that had holes, and only the oil that came out without being mixed with any pieces was kosher. Like the Rashi calls it the first group that comes out. Now, what's so special about oil? We find oil has a very, very great thing in Judaism. Number one, when it comes to Chanukah, obviously, better to use olive oil for the miracle of the Beit Hamikdash. There were a lot of Sephardic people. They actually light Shabbat candles with oil. Amongst the Ashkenazim, is not so common. They use candles, and that's fine. I'm not coming to say which custom is better. Not Sephardim, a lot of them use oil, right? And then even people that say, maybe oil is too expensive or whatever is olive oil, they might put some, water in the bottom, but then on top they put olive oil, so it burns. Excuse me. So I just want to, before I go further, to show the importance of olive oil. What does that show? There was actually a story. This happened with the Lubavitch Rebbe many, many years ago. There was a family that were Syrians, and they couldn't have any children. As you all know, in the olden days, before we had so many good doctors, if somebody didn't get pregnant after 6 months, the entire family became doctors. The mother, the father, the mother-in-law, maybe you should eat this food, maybe you should do this, maybe you're not sleeping enough. Everybody becomes doctors. That's exactly what happened. And this couple decided to leave Syria, whatever it was, I don't know. They came to America, or they left the family, wherever they were. And then they heard that, the Rebbe is a big tzaddik. So they pass by, the woman passes by. And he says, please give me a blessing to have a child. The Rebbe says, you're Sephardic, no? Isn't it your custom to light Shabbat candles with oil? Maybe you should continue doing that with oil. She started doing that, and she had a baby boy a year later. How do I know this? Because after the Rebbe passed away, one of my friends flew to pray by his grave. On the way back, the guy that sat next to him in the airplane was actually the father of such a child. So heard the story from one of my friends that heard from him. But again, what's the concept of an olive oil? You see, guys, olive oil has two opposite things. From one side, if you mix it with any liquid, it never gets mixed up. It always stands on top. No matter what, put it in a Coke, put it in water, put it in vinegar, mix it, do whatever you want. As soon as you leave it still, it stands on top. But at the same time, it's something that permeates and goes through completely. Pour it on your shirt. It's not like a jelly that only stands on the top. It goes through and through. It's two opposite things. With liquid, it stands on top. When you put it on a piece of cloth, it goes through and through. So this is actually what every single one of you guys are. Every single Jew has the quality of oil. There's a lot of evil in the world. There's a lot of shtuyot, crazy stuff in the world. So a Jew has to know that he has to stand above. We're not here to get mixed and get combined with the garbage. Every time Jews try to combine with non-Jews or something, there was actually total destruction. The proof is we find in times of Nazi Germany, there were actually Jews at that time, the Reform movement. They were embarrassed that they're Jewish because they said, Jewish religion, come on, from 2,000-3,000 years ago. Come on, Germans are better people. And they came with a statement, be a Jew at home and be a German outside. They actually felt embarrassed to go with a beard. I'm going to show off that I'm a German. Crazy. I'm not like they felt like they're like the Amish, no electricity, the weird people. So there were a lot of them that actually, they assimilated. There were like 2-3 generations married into Germans. Were they saved more than the religious Jews? Hitler killed every single one of them, whatever he can. Whoever he could kill. He didn't care how many generations they're German or how German they became. So they thought if you're going to mix with the Germans, are such elevated people, best doctors, best engineers come from them, join, and we will for sure not be hurt. That's not what a Jew is. You're olive oil, you have to stand above. Different than other nations, obviously. I'm not saying we're better or we're bigger tzaddikim. I'm saying we're different, we have a different mission. I really think we're tzaddikim, but anyways, I don't want to wait. Didn't want to wait. But anyways, but again, we have different missions, but at the same time, we are not here to be for ourselves. That I'm going to go just sit and learn. I don't care about the rest of the world. We have to take our values and make sure they permeate the entire world. Just like oil actually penetrates through the shirt or the cloth that it falls in. It's like two opposite things, but we are capable of doing it. That's exactly what every single one of you guys are. You have Torah values. You have wonderful values, every single one of you. The way you dress, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you go to sleep. You say Kriyat Shema before you go to bed. You're definitely different than average, regular people in the world. But at the same time, you're a light to the entire world. You're here to change them. Is that clear, people? That's lesson number one that we learn from olive oil. So if somebody's going to call you, you look like an olive, it's actually a compliment. You say, no, not an olive oil. But really, it's a compliment. You're above and you penetrate. You permeate the world at the same time. This is the zchus, that we have. That's number one. Number two, I just wanted to start maybe something small and hopefully maybe we finish it next week. You see, guys, we learn about the Mishkan, the Beit HaMikdash. There's an argument between the Ramban and the Maimonides, the Rambam. What was the real purpose of the Mishkan? What's the most important thing? So the Ramban says the most important thing of the Mishkan is where the Shekhinah rests. God's presence. You don't raise voice. I got scared. Tell him Rabbi Loydon has a weak heart. Oh. I used to go on roller coasters as a kid. But once I got married, no. I don't want to be a hero. I want to live. No more roller coasters. That's what happened. Oh, you want to ask me? Yeah, exactly.
Why was peanut? Why not peanut oil? Why olive oil?
I guess olive is more important. It's chashuv. It's much more important. Listen, I didn't check, but I'm saying olives that it's Israel. I have to check. You have a good question. I don't want to make up an answer. Anyway, so the Ramban says, please guys, that the main thing I'm going to finish in 5 minutes. The main thing of the Beit HaMikdash, the Mishkan, is the presence of God. Therefore, the most important thing is the Aron, the Luchot where Shekhinah rests. As one in last week's parsha, when God spoke to Moshe Rabbeinu, voice of God came from on top of the Aron, from between the Kruvim, those angelic baby faces that we had. But the Maimonides says no. The main thing of the Beit HaMikdash is for Jews to gather to bring sacrifices. So now you're shtikul Talmidei Chachamim, the machlokes of the Ramban. And the Rambam is the main thing, korbanos, sacrifices, is the main thing, the Shekhinah being there. We're going to talk about the aspect of the sacrifices and about the Shekhinah too. Let's start by the Shekhinah first. It's easier. So regarding the presence of Shekhinah, the Torah says, "V'asuli mikdash," make for me a holy place. V'shachanti betocham, I will dwell where, guys? I will dwell. What's that? In the tocham, in them, not in it. Make me a holy place, so I'm going to dwell in it, in the holy place. Make me a holy place, I'm going to dwell in them. Who's them? There's only one Beit HaMikdash. Exactly. So you have the Shalah Kadosh. What? Exactly. It's from the Shalah Kadosh. Betoch kol echad ve'echad. God is saying another message. Even Chas v'Shalom, after Beit HaMikdash is destroyed, God wants to dwell in every single person. Every single one of you is a Beit HaMikdash for God. We just have to allow God to come. The one time asked, the Kotzker Rabba asked, where is God? So one of the answers that he gave is God is wherever you allow him to come. But obviously the other answer is where is no God? God is everywhere. What if before you tell me where is God, tell me where is the place that there is no God? God is everywhere. But he gave a different answer. That God is somewhere that you allow him to come. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. So what do I speak about it? So then, actually, we have to know that every single one of you guys are holy people. Honestly, you are. Whether you believe it or not, you are. And wherever you walk, you actually bring the Shekhinah within you. It's an amazing thing. But how do we do that? So that's what we're going to discuss, hopefully, maybe next week, about the concept of sacrifices that was brought in Beit HaMikdash. What did we sacrifice? Animals or human beings? You're not like Christians that they say, oh, this guy, whatever. He got sacrificed for the rest of us. Yeah. No, the Shekhinah being there. Korbanot, right. So then the way you actually bring Shekhinah upon you is if you do the concept of sacrifices spiritually. So the concept of the sacrifices are that you bring animals, right? So we're going to discuss Be'ezrat Hashem next week. Each one of us, although we are holy people, we have the human side or the godly side in us, which is the godly soul, but we have an animal side too. That's the Yetzer Hara. How do we get closer to God? How do we bring the Shekhinah down on us? By sacrificing the animal inside. We're going to learn that Be'ezrat Hashem, yes. What? The Ketoret is actually even more important than the sacrifices. You know what the reason is? Because one of the things that actually brought was one of them was from a non-kosher animal. It was the blood of something from non-kosher animal. So the sacrifices they actually only elevated kosher stuff. More. According to the Maimonides, was a non-kosher thing. More uksia. So then by Ketoret, he actually elevated something non-kosher. So we're going to discuss the animal within us, and we're going to discuss the human within us. And actually, when we do not do what our evil inclination wants, this is the greatest thing that we can accomplish to satisfy God. Thank you guys for listening.